If you consider plasma, the way we describe it, as a collection of fields in working in coordination with each other, you'll find a new dimension in the science. What does this mean? If I can manage to separate one field from one plasma and be able to manipulate it, be able to give it field energy to elevate its strength, or take from it that it becomes part of me, then the science of creation becomes extremely interesting. What does this mean? This means if we can separate one strand of magnetic field, one line of it, on its own, be it coming to us or going away from us, and be able to add to it, or given it strength, or take from it in a way that we control what we take from this line, then we understand the process of creation. This means that we understand how to create. The creation does not mean observation, detection. Creation means that affecting other fields, other conditions, and creating your own environment. In a way, we manipulate field strength, but at the same time, to manipulate it, we need to bring additional energies, additional magnetic fields in motion, other strength that can interact. This is the cornerstones of man's capability to travel the span of universe. Why is it important? When it comes to the end game, when it comes to the time when we want to travel from Mars to Earth, or from Earth to Moon, we don't need collection and collective fields. We need one field which interacts with the place, time, and position on a specific point in that target, which lands us exactly where we want to be, because it has its own fingerprint of the strength. That's why it's that position on that surface, on that environment. So the next step of the knowledge in a coming time for knowledge seekers to learn is separation of fields, individual fields, and then manipulation of it, to travel on it, to come back on it, to take energy from it, to give energy to it. Singularity of the field. Up to now, when we speak about the plasma, we speak about collection of fields. Now we have to understand the singularity of fields. As we know, every line of magnet is connected to another end magnet. Identifying the strength, which one, and to what limitation we want to use that field is the name of the game. Now that we understand more of. In a way, you want to go from, let's say, London to Manchester, you have one motorway which links you direct. You have to find that motorway. For you to go from Mars to Moon, from Moon to another point in the universe, and land up in this place where you want to be. You don't want to get on any motorway and end up in another city. Your destination is a certain point. We have to find these highways of the space. We have to educate ourselves that we don't end up in the wrong place. Separation of the magnetic field and understanding the communication line is one of the crucial part of the technology which will be upcoming in the teaching of this year. Which means I want to land in such a building, in such a room, in such a city, and not on another planet. That position is like a fingerprint It has a specific strength. How do we detect it? How do we know where we land? And how do we know that in landing we will have everything which we came in with? Do we become another carriage on the bandwidth of the fields, or do we become a field ourselves attached to that field? You have to realize the information of the life entity has to be carried on a single line information, single line magnetic field. And that is the secret of the space travel. Otherwise, you're an object, you'll have resistance, and then in having resistance, you have to overcome. It means you have to tap to other energies to be able to keep up to where you want to be. And if you understand this process, and if you can analyze it to reach a singular line of energy containing all what is needed, then you understand the process of the Creator and the creation. This is why we speak about God being single, because everything else along that single line is carried. Then its interaction and division leads to the creation of life, the universe, and the rest of it. In the process of transmutation, man has to become aware of the dimension which he works with and within. As we always said, transmutation is a condition of the matter state. Transmutation is a condition of energy state. And both are right. And man has to decide to understand both knowledge, energy, and the matter state. This is one of the biggest problems of today for man who cannot understand the science of plasma, because they cannot distinguish between the matter state, which is the same fields but in the point of observation, and the energy state of the same. What does this mean? And how much man can manipulate the energy state in its singularity will show the intelligence of man, understanding the process of creation. The way in the matter state man manipulates to create different systems and computers and materials. Now man has to learn how to manipulate energy lines, magnetic fields in motion, where you can bend it, where you can divide it, where you can bring it to interact at the point and dimension you need. This become important for knowledge seekers or travelers of space. Go back to the patterns and read how you make a wall, how you make a partition, how do you make a craft without actually a single brick with a single piece of atom. The process of creation has to be understood on its both matter state and the energy state, and manipulation of each and both at the same time. Energy defined in the plasma or magnetic field is magnetic field in motion. Does not matter how man translates energy in the matter state, the potential, kinetic energy and the rest of it, because then he has to confirm the condition of the matter manifestation, where in the dimension of energy, magnetic field in motion is only one. It has no kinetic and it has no potential, because it's always constant. But the elevation of the amplitude and the frequency is a matter of the matter state. How you bring close to each other the gravitational and magnetical fields of a field of rays then dictates the power of understanding of the man about the knowledge of the creation. Where in matter state you understand respect to position of, energy state is respect to strength of. When we did tests in the laboratories, when we are within a plasma, as we explained before, we don't see any waves. It's always constant, it's zero, it's DC. The minute we go far enough that we have to interact with other fields, in trying to confirm the interaction, we see waves. confirmation of the interaction, confirmation of existence. In the process of the knowledge, in gaining the knowledge, then you understand that in that DC, inside the plasma, is a spectrum of energies. It's not just one. And depending on which one interacts at the boundary of the field with another field, which creates a wave, dictates what we call the salinity, the inertia, the conformation. This all has the same meaning. Then, once you understand this, man will be able to manipulate space-time as a field and energy, and not as a matter state condition of the what we call wavelength. Inertia is the sign of interaction of the fields at a given specific field strength. Once you understand this, you will understand how electric current is created, how what we call energy transfers are done. And this is, at this moment of time, lacking in the vocabulary of knowledge of the man. When you give inertia of the field energy, you create electricity. This is what Tesla understood, and the world of creation and science up to now is baffled by it. He didn't understand any more than that. You give inertia, you create gold from the plasma fields. But at the same time, energy, magnetic field in motion has its own inertia, which creates what you call the current flow. And this has never been explained and defined in the world of science of today. And maybe as a breakthrough in the world of science, for the first time, mankind has the opportunity to understand and be able to convert between one and the other. Inertia of the matter and inertia of the energy. Those scientists who become wise to understand this will break into new science and technologies of the creation, far beyond present man's understanding. Every manifestation needs its inertia. Every manifestation needs its salinity, which means the interaction between two field forces of different base strength. Once you understand this, you have broken into the knowledge of the creation, transportation, transmutation, and how to reach the ultimate goal, the center of the universe. Once you analyze to understand the creation of the creator depends on this. Even light needs inertia for it to manifest itself. In the body of man, we call it salinity. The conformation of one dissolves the other. In the body of the man, we always look at the wrong side of the process of the creation. You call it alkalineness and acidity, where acidity creates conformation of collection in bringing together, when what we call salinity, it brings separation in condition of fields, determination of their own position. That's why they say if your body is more alkaline, you can't get cancer, which means cells cannot come together. It's the same with the energy of the fields of the universe. Inertia, collection of the interaction of the fields, dictates the strength, the fields, and the position of the fields. And for world of science, this has never been understood. And if you understand this, then you understand why you have different colors in the inertia of the materials, the lights we observe. Man has not understood that the color range, color spectrum of the plasma or the light is inertia dependent on the field strength of the magnetic field energy transportation and nothing else. Colors are created due to salinity, what you call the physical body of the man, or inertia of the magnetic field strength itself. Then you understand how the spectrum of our colors are played in the dimension of the matter state, and how they have so many different effects on the body of the man. As we spoke in the last teachings, how The choice of carbon will give us different colors that is added to the food of today. Go back and understand why. That carbon has given inertia field strength that it allows it to manifest itself at that strength. If man understands this and translates it to inertia, not just the color spectrum, then man has managed to understand how to separate the fields of the universe and in which fields to travel in one direction and one dimension and in one position. As the universe is a colorful spectrum of the inertias which man has not understood. Inertia of the magnetic fields, which manifests itself as the energy of light, colors of light, is the secret to man's transmutation and transportation in the universe, where in a matter state you count it by the speed of light, kilometers per hour, and God knows how many tons. Knowledge of inertia in the dimension of the energy, magnetic fields in motion, is the secret to man's knowledge in understanding the totality of the world of the creation and why and how you can transmute to a given point specific to the color range inertia, fingerprint of the time, place and position.